Hi, these comments are for MT. I am Michael from OTCOnlineTOEFLCourse.com, and you're one of my 30-day TOEFL Writing Boot Camp course students, Hua, and this is the first of 2 error correction videos. You did the free TOEFL writing practice test. You got some feedback on that. I'm going to give you complete feedback on every line, every paragraph, all of it with this particular error correction video. Okay, I have the independent writing prompt here. Let's take a look at your email that you sent me. You say, I am one of your TOEFL Writing Boot Camp course students. Please error correct my independent writing practice test number 1. Show me what I need to do in order to score 30 out of 30 on this writing task. It took me about 1 hour to write this practice test. So I'm going to put the word so in there. So instead of putting a comma, which creates a comma splice, you can say, so I still need more practice to speed up my writing. So use that coordinating conjunction there to connect those independent clauses to show a cause-effect relationship. You say, but it is already better than my last time, which took me about 2 hours. So that's good. You're making progress. By the way, you already answered me very well in your video. I will skip the meeting on Monday, 6 to 6:50, as it is not necessary anymore. Have a great evening. I wish to hear back from you soon. But you still attended the meeting. It was good to talk to you. It's good to see you last night. All right? Okay, let's get started with the essay. So I read it. And I'm going to put you at 3.75 out of 5, 24 points out of 30. So the topic here is many students have to live with roommates while going to school or university. What are some of the important qualities of a good roommate? Use specific reasons and examples to explain why these qualities are important. Right, so I gave you the score of 3.75 out of 5. If you go to the rubrics, I think you have some inconsistent facility in sentence formation and word choice that may result in a lack of clarity and occasionally obscure meaning. I think you can also develop the first paragraph a little bit more. Those are some of my comments I'm going to show you now. Okay, so let's get started. So you say many students have to live with roommates who are going to school or university. I'm going to just put while going to a university. Sharing an apartment or even a room with some students sometimes can be challenging. To maximize the harmonization of this symbiotic relationship, and I'm going to get rid of this, I think that just say a good roommate needs to be respectful, responsible, and helpful. Okay, so the introduction, I think you can raise the topic a little bit more. I'm going to try to get this paragraph to about 100 words. I'll show you how. I made some revisions to your first paragraph. So what you wrote, you have about 44 words. And then in my revised introduction, I expanded this to about 104. So I spent time raising the topic more. You'll also notice that I'm trying to show you how to create some longer sentences. You tend to have really short sentences here. If you look at this sentence is 12 words. The next sentence is 14. And then your longest one is 18. You have to show a little bit better syntactic variety than this. Longer sentences typically are better than shorter. So let's take a look at this paragraph here. So I started off saying this. After high school, many students may decide to attend universities so they can increase their academic knowledge, helping to qualify them for their prospective careers. So notice how this sentence is 26. Well, at these learning institutions, these students will have to make many decisions such as what major they will pursue and where they will live. So my next sentence is 25 words. Further, once they decide on the living location, such as dorms or apartments, these students will choose to live with roommates. A challenging situation since students come from diverse backgrounds and varying extracurricular interests. So then here we have 35, and then we end the paragraph with a relatively short sentence at 18. So your goal, and I feel that the E-Rater, ETS's artificial intelligence scoring engine, is going to look at your simplistic sentence style and say, hey, this person is writing at the fifth or the sixth grade level, and you're going to end up getting a lower score there. So you need to show you can create longer sentences. Typically, I think between 20 and 30 words is pretty good, right? And then every now and then you'll have a shorter sentence that's between 10 and 20 words. But the 10 and 20 word sentences should not be the norm. They should be maybe the exception. So longer sentences typically are better than shorter. Now, shorter sentences every now and then can be very effective, don't get me wrong. But just make sure your whole essay does not consist of just that. Okay, so that's my change to your introduction. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. So you say respect is an important quality of a good roommate. A good roommate should show respect to different cultural backgrounds, religions, habits, and personalities in order to ensure used harmonization Okay, let's look at this. How about use a connecting word here? A good roommate should show respect to different cultural backgrounds, religions, habits, and personalities in order to ensure the harmonization of living together. For example, when enrolled into my freshman year, at McGill University, I was assigned to live in a dormitory on the McDonald. I like the specificity here. This is good. On the McDonald campus, sharing a room with a student called Lindsay from Massachusetts. Okay, this is a good sentence. It says she came from Western culture, was a Christian, liked to stay awake late during the night, and was quiet and shy. While I was Asian originated. I don't think you have to say originated. Just say, while I was Asian, was an atheist, went to sleep early, and was more enthusiastic. We did not become friends eventually. I'm going to change this to, unfortunately, how about different personalities and interest. We did not become friends eventually, but we lived in harmony without any conflicts. Yeah, I think the eventually thing kind of throws it off. I don't think I'd say that. I would just say, unfortunately, having different personalities and interests, we did not become friends, but we lived in harmony without any conflicts during our 1 year time because we respected each other. Okay, let's take a look at your next paragraph here. How about let's throw a transition word in there. In addition, responsibility is another important quality of a good roommate. When living together, when you say when living together, you have to put the subject after which modifies that. The roommates are living together, right? Roommates. Let's get rid of when there is. Roommates always share common areas. We can put a semicolon here. When living together, roommates always share common areas. How about living rooms, kitchens, bathrooms? And I'm going to make these all plural, and perhaps dining rooms. Therefore, get rid of it. It and their sentences are not very strong. They're not considered strong sentence constructors. Everyone is responsible. Everyone is responsible to maintain the common areas. Are clean and neat. For example, when I was in my junior middle high school, I lived on campus sharing a room with 3 other girls from my class. We had a preset schedule. You might say something like, how about stayed to make sure our living spaces stay clean and orderly. We had a preset housework schedule for the common areas. And I'll put a comma after areas, including the living room, the balcony, and the bathroom. Each one of us had our own assigned common areas to maintain. You might put, and we rotated these chores. I'm going to just say monthly. So each participant would not get stuck doing the same chore all the time. Okay, each one of us had our own assigned common areas to maintain, and we rotated these chores monthly so that each participant would not get stuck doing the same chore all the time. As roommates, all 4 of us needed to be responsible to accomplish our duties, our own duties, to maintain the how about the cleanliness and orderliness of the rooms. Okay, I think we're good there. Okay, let's look. I'm going to make one more change here. So let's put this here. All four of us needed to be responsible to accomplish our own duties to maintain the cleanliness and orderliness of rooms. Now, because this is the final idea, right? I'm going to say finally, something like that. Finally, helping each other is also an important quality recognized for a good roommate. When living away from parents, this is the problem. You did this before, so this is a misplaced modifier, or what's called a dangling participle. You can go to Google, what is a misplaced modifier? You can learn more about that. So the unit you're having some grammatical problems here. I'm going to put roommates. I'm going to put the subject because who's living away from parents? It's the roommates. The roommates live in units which become temporary families. We'll say that. So when living away from parents, we wanted to make sure that the subject here, you're taking this adverb clause, right? You're reducing it. You're putting ing there because it has active meaning, right? But the only way you can reduce the adverb clause is the subjects in the adverb clause and the independent clause have to be the same. So that's why I'm putting roommates here. It means when roommates live away from parents, roommates live in units which become temporary families. So now I have eliminated that misplaced modifier. How about this? They become temporary families. Let's put a comma. I'm going to give you a little bit more syntactic variety here. The members of whom need to support each other to overcome difficulties. For example, I'm going to put, imagine that a girl was suffering a high fever during a flu season, and she was not familiar with the local medical system. As she was a foreign student. At this time, if her roommate could accompany her to the emergency room of a nearby hospital and could bring her some hot food, it would be very helpful for her recovery. Okay, if her roommate could accompany her to the emergency of a nearby hospital and could bring her some hot food, it would be very helpful for her recovery. You can probably maybe develop this last topic a little bit more. How many words do we have here? No? Okay, it's 100. It's okay. In summary, in order to be a good roommate, in my opinion, 3 are the important qualities are respect, responsibility, and helpfulness. Then we can say something like, roommates sharing these qualities will be more compatible. Okay, we got it. Okay, let's take a look at it one more time here. Okay, let's see what we have. Okay, so what I'm doing is rewriting it, showing you how to get that perfect score. So one of the things I'm thinking about is you do have sometimes grammatical errors. I noticed that misplaced modifier error popped up a little bit. That's a problem. That kind of involves your understanding adverb clauses and reduce adverb clauses, and then knowing that when you reduce the adverb clause, you can only do that if the subject in the independent clause is the same as the subject in that adverb clause that has been reduced, right? But the changes that I'm making here are going to help you get 30 points out of 30, right? So let's take a look at it one more time. After high school, many students may decide to attend universities so they can increase their academic knowledge, helping to qualify them for their prospective careers. Well, at these learning institutions, these students will have to make many decisions, such as what major they will pursue and where they will live. Further, once they decide on their living location, such as dorms or apartments, these students will choose to live with roommates, a challenging situation since students come from diverse backgrounds and varying extracurricular interests. To maximize the harmonization of this symbiotic relationship, a good roommate needs to be respectful, responsible, and helpful. Now, notice the strategy here because you said this word harmonization, right? If you notice in the conclusion, I used the word compatible. Compatible is a synonym for harmony or harmonious, if you want to make it an adjective, right? So that kind of helps tie those paragraphs together. Okay, let's keep going. The next one. Respect is an important quality of a good roommate. Hence, a good roommate should show respect to different cultural backgrounds, religions, habits, and personalities in order to ensure the harmonization of living together. For example, when enrolled in a freshman year at McGill University, I was assigned to live in a dormitory on the McDonald campus, sharing a room with a student called Lindsay from Massachusetts. Very good specificity there. This is very strong. She came from Western culture, was a Christian, liked to stay awake during the night, and was quiet and shy, while I was Asian, was an atheist, went to sleep early, and was more enthusiastic. You know what's really sophisticated here, I'll give you some big points on this. I like how Western culture, you're Asian, Christian, you're atheist, stayed awake late, you went to sleep early, was quiet and shy, and you were more enthusiastic. But you might change this to I know what you're trying to do here was you're kind of creating a balanced kind of contrast. So extroverted really is a better synonym for the word quiet and shy and not enthusiastic. I think extrovert or extroverted is better. Unfortunately, having different personalities and interests, we did not become friends, but we lived in harmony without any conflicts during that 1 year time because we respected each other. Good. Okay, let's look at your next paragraph. In addition, responsibility is another important quality of a good roommate. When living together, roommates always share common areas, living rooms, kitchens, bathrooms, and perhaps dining rooms. Therefore, everyone is responsible to maintain the common areas so that they are clean and neat. For example, when I was in my junior middle school, I lived on campus sharing a room with 3 other girls from my class. To make sure our living spaces stayed clean and orderly, we had a preset housework schedule for the common areas, including the living room, the balcony, and the bathroom. Each one of us had our own assigned common areas to maintain, and we rotated these chores monthly so that each participant would not get stuck doing the same chore all the time. As roommates, all 4 of us needed to be responsible to accomplish your own duties to maintain the cleanliness and the orderliness of rooms. Finally, helping each other is also an important quality recognized for a good roommate. When living away from parents, roommates live in units which become temporary families, the members of whom need to support each other to overcome difficulties. You write a sentence like this on the TOEFL, very, very high score. Notice how I put the members of whom, right? That's a complex sentence. I'm using what's called adjective clauses and expressions of quantity. For example, imagine that a girl was suffering a high fever during a flu season and she was not familiar with the local medical system as she was a foreign student. At this time, if her roommate could accompany her to the emergency of a nearby hospital and could bring her some hot food, it would be very helpful for her recovery. Good. In summary, in order to be a good roommate, in my opinion, 3 of the important qualities are respect, responsibility, and helpfulness. Roommates sharing these qualities will be more compatible with those they live with. Okay, perfect. Now the next step is I want to go into my website here. Let's see. I want to see what are some things that you can review that can help you strengthen your writing based on your level right now. Okay, let's see what we have here. So I'm looking at the general, not going to worry too much about this. Vocabulary, I think is pretty good. You have good vocabulary, so no major problems there. Let's go to grammar. Anything that stands out here, I'm going to bring it up. So let's see. Yeah, you need to create longer sentences, right? So your sentences are a little bit too short sometimes. So check out lesson number 5, compound sentences. Lesson 6, sentences with adjective clauses. Lesson 7, noun clauses. Lesson 8, adverb clauses. Lesson 9, multiple clauses. Right? Lesson 10, you had problems, I think, at least 2 times with misplaced modifiers. So I want you to check out that particular lesson. Okay, what else here? Check out the lesson 26, syntactic variety. I think that's a good lesson for you right now. And then do lesson 26.2. You see right there it says, where is it? Let me see here. Yeah, sentence variety practice exercises. I think that's a good within the context of looking at that one. I think using commas is good. You can also study lesson 29, semicolon, colon, dash. Particularly, I want you to, when you go through lesson 29, look at the semicolon versus the colon, even the dash, and then find opportunities to use these in your writing. Okay, I think that's good. Let's go into the writing part of my course. Let's see if anything sticks out on me here. I know you've already been looking at it. I think this is a good one. TOEFL independent writing strategies. Continue to go through this lesson. This is a good lesson. Okay, what else here? Lesson 5.6, writing the perfect paragraph. It talks about 7 things you can do, like creating lexical change, transition words, and a whole host of other things. I want you to go through lesson 5.6, writing the perfect paragraph, and I want you to look at 2 things. One, look at how you can use more transition words within a paragraph in order to connect the ideas together, and then also look at how you can be even more specific than what you were in order to develop the arguments you're making in each of those body paragraphs. So I think that's good. Lesson number 8, I want you to check out this one, how to make your writing more coherent. So it talks really about two basic things here in this particular lesson. So when you look at paragraph, lesson number 8 there, so we're talking about what's called paragraph unity. So I want you to read through that. You're pretty good there, right? So you understand that. Now the second thing, it talks about cohesion. And specifically, I talk about 4 different cohesive devices that you can use in your writing. That's what I want you to pay attention to, because I think you can improve the cohesion of your writing a little bit better, right? So go through that lesson, and I think that's probably enough. I think that's enough for right now. So thank you for doing the writing practice test. I'm hopeful. I think if you can make some changes with your sentence length, I think that's going to be helpful. You notice when I went through and I edited your paper, I actually made I added some things and clarified some ideas, and that gives you an idea of the type of detail that is going to help strengthen your writing. Okay, thank you for doing this writing practice test.